So why am I doing this? I'm doing this for myself, as I normally do on the internet, just to basically talk to me, as I do all the time. I'm a very introspective person. I like to think. I like to understand what makes me react the way I do, why I behave the way I do, and how art is a part of that process, if that makes any sense. Like, I want to talk a bit about my artist statement. I've never really had the chance to dive into what I've been wanting to say about my work. Growing up alongside Lake Ontario and its conservation areas, I've developed an affinity for nature and its authenticity that continues to shape my work. Raised within former Catholic traditions, I catalyze my practice to explore defiant emotions relating to socialization and interpersonal relationships. Reoccurring motifs circle a spiritual association, continuing an ongoing tension with existentialism. That is a packed paragraph, to be honest. A lot of big words, and it sounds like a lot of, I don't know, pandering is the right word for that. Really hone it into one paragraph that describes my work and what I'm trying to say without going into too much detail. But I will go into detail now. Reason I said my affinity for nature and its authenticity that continues to shape my work is because I really adore the natural landscape. I think outside in nature, birds and trees and rivers and the lake or an ocean or the moon or the sun is very spiritual. That's what obviously life is, right? Like, we are all a part of nature. We are not separate from it. Our socialization, which is what I also said, defiant emotions relating to socialization, interpersonal relationships. I am frustrated with the way society is structured. I hate, well, hate is a strong word. I detest the way we are categorized constantly. I don't like the way we are forced to be something in this world without just simply having the permission to exist. I think nature doesn't do that. And that's what I adore about it. It is just there. It just exists. It just bees. It just thrives and it grows and it dies and it comes back again. And it keeps on going and it keeps fighting and it keeps pushing and through all these seasons, and it will just be. There's no debating it. There's no putting it in a box. There's no... You can put meaning on it. Of course you can. It is absolutely separate from the confinements of socialization that us as humans have created based on our conscious beliefs. I hate them. I'll use that word again because I know it's strong, but I'm gonna keep using it. I hate it. I think it is so limiting. And when you are outside, fully immersed by yourself, there is no one to perform for other than yourself. When you lay down in the grass and you are looking up at the sky, feel the wind on your face, or you see how animals are just trying to survive, that to me is the most real thing you could ever experience. And I don't think anyone can debate that. Like, that is what makes something real. Interpersonal relationships is interesting. A lot of my work does revolve around romance, as a lot of art does revolve around romance and attachment. It is something that I've obviously struggled with for a very long time, and I'm trying to unpack it in my work subtly, or maybe not so subtly. Emotions are what make me me, and those emotions need somewhere to go. That my work is that catalyst that produces that for me in a sort of existential or maybe spiritual way. I like to peel back the layers of body language, of color theory. I like to riff off of artists like Edvard Munch, which I've mentioned before. His relationship with color in his work is something I find to be very fascinating. It's very, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, immediate. His use of color is very immediate. It's just kind of the emotion that comes out of color theory and the psychology behind color is what Monk really does in his work. For example, The Scream. Let's use the most famous example. The reason it is a masterpiece is because it invokes such anxiety in a very visceral way that many viewers can relate to just off of color and paint and texture, emotion. Like the way that he combines all these elements creates such a strong piece of work. And it's really just from that visceral place of like, I need to paint this on canvas. I need to convey this emotion immediately, or else it's just gonna sit inside of me. That's exactly why I make work. It gives me something to look at, and then I can almost feel it again. Maybe sense of control, or sense of I've overcome this and I can look at it, or I'm feeling this and I can feel seen looking at this. Existentialism is interesting. I think a lot of my work revolves around, obviously, adolescent struggle, because I am an adolescent and I'm struggling. But it is that kind of tension in my work of who am I? What is my place here? What is my identity? Why am I here? Who are these people? I'm in this situation and I don't know how to feel, or I do know how to feel and I don't want people to tell me. It's kind of a lot like, again, I say defiance in my statement because that's exactly how I feel, is like, I don't want to be defined. I don't want to be in a box. I just want to be. My biggest muse is myself. You could chalk it up to, is it narcissism? I am not a psychologist. I have no idea. It could be a form of narcissism, but I don't think it's a harmful kind, because I don't believe I'm more superior than anybody else. I don't believe that. There is a muse within myself that I'm constantly pulling from, and I really enjoy depicting myself in these paintings or in my work. Somewhere there is a literal aspect of me. There will always be, no matter what. Even if I'm painting a landscape like behind me, like I won't maybe physically put myself in there, or maybe I will, I don't know. It is a mirror, and I need my work to continue to be this mirror for myself, and sometimes it's literal and sometimes it's symbolic. If I'm not in my work in some way, it doesn't feel like my work. What makes my art interesting, at least to me, is I like seeing the struggle. I'm doing the work. I'm pushing through something that maybe looks like nothing to many, or maybe looks like ugly. Like, even though my art's, I don't think it's ugly, but I think there is some kind of form of imperfectness. You know, whatever I'm using at the time, I am like actively struggling, but it still is art. I'm using a lot of the same words, but I promise it's just like trying to explain it in words is hard. I make the work, I struggle through it, and then I stand back and I look at what I've done and I feel it.